human eye processes data faster than any machine we've ever built. But even it needs a moment of darkness.
Integrating the sensor directly into the lattice structure, we can monitor thermodynamics in real time. The results, as you can see, are absolutely immaculate.
Nobody actually marketed the malware cam. Nobody asked the people actually using the thing.
Reddit is not social media. It is an unsupervised focus group. All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about a source of market intelligence that is so powerful, but most companies are completely ignoring it. We're going to talk about how you can use it to actually build things people want. I want to start with a number that honestly should be kind of terrifying to anyone building a product or investing in tech today. 56%. So what is that? Well, according to a 2024 study from BCG, that's how many companies are getting absolutely no financial return from their AI investments. Think about that. More than half are just pouring money straight into a black hole. So what's the deal, right? Why are so many smart teams with so much money getting this so incredibly wrong? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. They're building things that nobody actually asked for. They are guessing what their customers need instead of really truly listening. And that guesswork, it is incredibly expensive. Let me give you a real-world example that just nails this point home. A product team was working on a new bioprinting module, and they had to choose a sensor. Internally, everything, and I mean everything, was pointing to infrared sensing. All the surveys, all the data, it created this perfect, neat consensus. But over on Reddit, the actual researchers using this stuff, they were telling a completely different story. One user just laid it all out there. He said infrared sensors were drifting at high temperatures, completely ruining their prints. So the internal consensus was dead wrong. They didn't need the correct choice, they needed the right choice, which was capacitive sensing. Finding that single comment saved the team 11 weeks of prototyping the wrong solution. 11 weeks! So where was this game-changing insight? Well, it was hiding in plain sight. It was in a place that most market researchers would never even think to look. And this is the key. We have to stop thinking of Reddit as just social media. We need to start seeing it for what it truly is. It's the world's largest unsupervised focus group. It is where your customers are, right now, debating, celebrating, and complaining about their problems with brutal honesty. And the scale of this is just wild. In a single 3-month period, skincare-related subreddits alone generated over 1 million posts. That's not just random chatter, you guys. That is a massive, structured library of market intelligence just waiting for you. Okay, so how do we actually tap into this? I mean, it's not about just endlessly scrolling through Reddit all day, right? No. There's a really simple, repeatable method you can use called the 3 sub-reality check. It all boils down to 3 really easy to remember steps: map, mine, and mirror. Let's walk through what each of those means. Okay, first up, you map. The whole goal here is just to find where your customers are actually talking. You're just looking for 3 subreddits that match your ideal customer profile. A simple search for your industry plus the word subreddit is a great way to start. But pro tip, don't forget to check the sidebar recommendations for related communities. That's often where the real gold is. Step 2, you mine. Now this is all about disciplined listening. Every Friday, just spend 25 minutes, that's it, sorting by the top posts of the week in those subreddits. Your only job is to log the recurring phrases, the big objections, the real desires that you keep seeing over and over. You do this for just 4 weeks and boom, you have a rich library of your customers' actual language. And finally, the most important step of all, mirror. This is where the magic happens. You take the exact words, I mean verbatim quotes, from your research and you feed them directly into your marketing copy, into your sales decks, your product positioning. What you're doing is closing that deadly gap between how you talk about your product and how your customers talk about their problems. Now, this technique isn't just for product managers and marketers. It's also an unbelievably powerful due diligence tool for investors who are trying to de-risk their bets. I mean, just imagine this for a second. You're an investor, you're looking at a Series B company. You do a quick search, and the top Reddit thread you find about their product is titled, "Does anyone else hate this product?" That's a massive red flag. And this is exactly the kind of disconnect investors can find. The pitch deck tells one story, right? It's filled with glowing metrics and all this manufactured hype. But the Reddit threads, they tell a completely different story, one of real user frustration. In this actual case, the investor passed on the deal. 8 months later, the company did a down round. That's not a hack, that's just smart risk management. So at this point, I know what the big question is. It's the one I get every single time I talk about this. How do you know what's real? How do you find the actual signal in all of that noise? Because look, it's a totally fair point. Aren't these communities just a bunch of echo chambers? Can you really trust a few angry posts from random people on the internet? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can, if you apply a really simple filter. Let's call it the triangulation heuristic. You're just looking for patterns. Is the same complaint popping up in 3 or more different threads? Is it happening over a couple of weeks? Is it coming from different users? See, one angry post, that's just an anecdote. But consistent repetition, my friends, that's data. Ultimately, it all just comes down to this. Your customers are out there right now, telling you exactly what they want, what they hate, and what they are willing to pay for. The problem isn't that they aren't talking. The problem is you might just be listening in the wrong room.